see what happens with that.
Okay.
In other Beverly Hills news, you know, Kyle, you know, there was this whole thing of the text messages with LVP, and she's saying, I texted them, you know, look, they're not friends, they're not going to speak. But, you know, it's kind of like when someone dies or something major happens, LVP is like, you know, not going to be friends with these two. But I mean, I reached out and texted them, and then PK said, you know, I'm going to call Sherlock Holmes because I don't know where these text messages are. Kyle then jumped into the mix and said, yeah, that Vanderpump, she's really crafty. You know, meaning like, you know, listen, you can document something if you screenshot it and clip off the top and well, LVP might have one thing with Dorit. She's like, I'm not going to go there with, you know, get out, Kyle. Like, she's not going to let Kyle have the last word. Miss Rinna, no, I don't know. I mean, Miss Vanderpump, look, Page Six reaches out to me all the time. So Page Six could have reached out to her. But I don't know, Miss Vanderpump could have picked up the phone and called Page Six. But she called them, or they called her, and she's like, oh, here's my phone. Here, forget about this screenshots, go through my entire phone. So Page Six has gone through Lisa Vanderpump's phone. And
I love it. I love it. And the
like,
were there?
She reached out to them, yep.
Wow.
And it showed that it was delivered, and I read and everything. Yep.
Wow. Okay. So what do you make of that? Do you think Dorit and PK just didn't get it? Do you think that they missed it? Or do you think that they don't like LVP? So it was a way to just get back at her and kind of gaslight her? What do you think?
And let's just lie and say this was never sent. I don't know.
To me, it sounds like they didn't get it. Don't you think? Like they never received it. They have multiple phones or something.
You think? I don't know about that.
Well, then you kind of feel like they're lying, right? That they're basically just throwing Lisa under the bus and they don't give a shit if it's true or not.
Do you know what I do know? I know that Lisa Vanderpump has not been on Beverly Hills Housewives for several seasons, and yet we're all still talking about her.
Okay. I mean, you know, and maybe that's probably just a good thing all around. It's a good thing for Vanderpump Rules.
One day, man, one day, listen, if Kyle is really done, like she says she might be, whenever that season happens, and we're all sensing it's coming, maybe not this season, I don't know if they're not. I still think with Kyle gone, no, Vanderpump, listen, Lisa, at the end of the day, the big fish to her is Kyle, right? That's what set her off to go contact Page Six or respond with a phone. She doesn't give a crap about freaking Dorit Kemsley, okay? So she's friends with Garcelle. They have an organic friendship. They both said they don't talk about housewives. It's not to get back, and she's become friends with Garcelle. If Kyle leaves with just Dorit left, I mean, she doesn't get along with Erica either, but now, or Rinna, but now it's like,
that's good drama.
I still think Lisa's big pain point is Kyle. It's not Erica or the others. Like, she doesn't give a crap about Erica, Jane, Rinna.
Well, especially now, right? I mean, Erica, we know doesn't have any money. I mean, the last episode of Beverly Hills was so great. She was looking at Lisa's Cartier rings. Isn't it Lisa? Diana's. Thank you. Diana's Cartier rings. And she's
love an Erica Jane who's humble and says, I can't afford that. But I really feel, the cast says it. Kyle is the queen. She's the one that holds our phone together. It's like our show together. I think if Kyle were gone, I don't know. I'm not so sure with Erica, Lisa, and Dorit. She doesn't get along with them, but I'm not so sure she wouldn't come back. She would have Garcelle. She would have Crystal. I mean, we're assuming all these people stay around, which is not going to be the case. But I still think if Kyle ever leaves, they're going to go after LVP in a
so hard
way. And I'm telling you, I feel it. I don't feel it this year. Don't feel it next year. I feel within the next
I do
3 years, at least Kyle will be gone and Lisa Vanderpump will be back. Mark my words. My prediction.
Saw in that story about Dorit, the back and forth about the texts, there was another quote from Kyle basically saying this, like these grown women going to social media, arguing back and forth over stupid text messages when there's all this stuff going in the world. This is like what I can't stand anymore. She basically gave a quote, not exact those words, but along that lines about like, this is why I want out. Like, it's so stupid. I don't care.
And don't forget, I mean, Kyle's really good friend just took her own life. Do you know this?
No, I didn't know
It's
this.
a really good friend of hers, and it's someone who
Oh, wow.
was like happy until she wasn't. It was a very like rapid thing. It wasn't like someone that had like years in history of mental illness. It was just one of those things that she was happy and then she wasn't. I mean, I'm oversimplifying, but and then Kyle really has some things going on in the real world. Really.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's
Not to mention the fact that, I mean, I don't think she's exactly like, kumbaya with her sister Kathy at the moment. So I think that's where Kyle's like, a woman took her life. This was Kyle's like one of her best friends in the world.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's just kind of like, I got real problems, guys, and you're fighting over like a text message. Like, listen, here's the thing. Dorinda, I think, is on more of a pause, but I think if Kyle put herself on a pause, 365 days later, if Kyle said, I don't want the pause, they would take her back. So I think if Kyle were to leave for a year, I think she could easily come back. I don't think they're going to say no. So why not? You can pass on the $1 million. You can pass on that for a year. Like,
look, I live in LA now. I see those agency signs on every house. Mauricio is doing very well.
I mean, Mauricio is getting a percentage of every sale. 2 million, 400,000, 50 million. David and James from $1 Million Listing, who are gone. They either quit or got fired. They work for him. Yeah, that's the whole drama that happened between Kathy and Kyle way back. Mauricio worked for Rick Hilton in real estate and started his own agency. So Mauricio is making a lot,
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's doing very well. Yes.
And listen, that he's like, Kyle, if you're not happy, just leave. Like, what house husband? Well, there's a few, but many house husbands are probably thrilled when their wife quits. So
they are. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I mean, losing a very good friend and then over a suicide, which raises a whole nother level of what you do as a friend, as a family member, you look inward. Could I have prevented this? It's just, there's a lot that goes along with it. I don't know. I'm not saying Kyle's leaving this year, but based on that quote and the other quote, I just think if she leaves, LVP will be back. I think it's possible. I do.
I think this is a great prediction. I think you're so on to it. And I'm with you. You feel, and maybe it's sooner than we think. I mean, maybe Kyle pauses for a year. Definitely a lot's going on. I think that's a good assessment.
She might pause. Diana Jenkins, who I absolutely loved. I don't know. She's okay. I'm starting to think maybe, I don't know.
You're not as wild about her.
I'm not as wild about her. I still stand by the fact that I love my housewives in Beverly Hills filthy rich. I love it. I love the out of touchness, but it's a fine line where you're like, this is now going to get annoying, like where all we're doing is like hash talking. And I understand that's her edit and that's probably why she got the job. And I don't know. I mean, look, yeah. I don't think she's desperate. She's friends with like NPH and his husband, like Elton John. I think she's the real deal. It's just, I'm not sure 100% that I love her as much as I thought I did. But I stand by, she is that Erica Jane or that Dorinda where like there is a presence season 1 as compared to like a Teddy or some other people that haven't lasted as long in the housewives world.
I love, well, Diana, have you seen the spoof that people are doing because Diana licks her lips a lot throughout the episodes?
I don't